Hey y'all, it's your girl Byrd here, and welcome to another segment of Byrd Talk. I am excited for today. Y'all get me today, and so if you are here, please let me know in the chat that you are here with us. For those of y'all who don't know me, as I mentioned, my name is Heather Bird. Feel free to call me Bird, and I am the founder of Bird's World, where we inspire and transform lives through creativity. Yeah, I'm super excited about what I'm going to share with you all today. So, if you're here, like I said, make sure you say your name, where you're from in the chat so that we can make sure to interact. This is going to be something that is not just a one sided conversation. I want to be able to really tap into what is going on in y'all lives today. Bird's World is. There are different levels to Bird's World, which I'm super excited about to talk a little bit more about later. But there are several ways in which I have had the pleasure of being able to work with folks and really unearth the power of their genius and really tap into their creative joy. And one of the ways that we've been able to do that is through courses, through challenges, through accountability groups, one-on-one coaching that involves really unearthing that story that is within you so that you can put your words out into the world. um I've done writing workshops, I've done school visits, performances. I'm an award-winning poet and producer. I've done panels. There's just so many different things that are out there and the possibility that's there. And so I want to be able to share a little bit more with you about my story and what I'm doing to move more folks into creative action. So over the next 20 minutes, I want to be able to share my story with you. And if at any point the story that I am sharing with you resonates with you, I definitely want to be able to interact with you in the chat. So if you are here again, make sure to introduce yourself, say your name, where you're coming from, so we can shout you out in this live. I just want to be able to be here and have a conversation with you all. But before we get started, one, I just want to make an announcement. You want to make sure that you stay until the end because I will have some announcements of ways in which you can unearth your creative joy in several different ways. So you want to make sure you stay to the end, and there will be a nice little surprise at the end for folks that stay. So you want to make sure that you are here. Um, so as I mentioned, there are a lot of different things that I do in Bird's World and working with others, but I'm really, really, really passionate about being able to get stories and ideas out of adults. I absolutely love working with youth, and there are so many different avenues in which youth have that opportunity to tell their story. But there's something that really happens with adults, like we're trained to be creative when we're 5. That is like instilled in us, and as we get older, right, when we get 9 or 10, that's still kind of there, but then there's a switch that happens specifically within the school system that moves us from this creative avenue that we've been on and moves us to more of this linear path that doesn't allow for us to really tap into who we are. And so the older we get, the more that we lose our joy around being creative. And then when you get to be an adult, some of that stuff just kind of gets pushed to the side because we have so many different responsibilities, and the dreams that we had as children sometimes get pushed aside. And so what I want to be able to do is reignite some of those dreams that you had. So whether it is, for you to write a book, whether it's for you to stand on stage and to spit a poem, whether or not it's, getting a business idea together, what does it look like for you to take the dreams that you had as a child and really make them a reality in your adulthood? Because I believe that it's never too late for you to be able to start your dream and to make it a reality. I am someone who has carved a path for myself, which has allowed me to live within my dream, which has been just beyond amazing. So with that, I've been able to publish my book, which you can kind of see in the background, Mahogany, A Love Letter to Black. Um, and with that, push that story even further and become an award-winning writer and producer for my shows Her Story of History and Inheritance, The Stories We Carry. And I've been able to travel with those stories and really be in rooms with audiences where we can have honest conversation about our existence in this world, and what that means for us. And for some of us, I know specifically being in a room with someone and I have a poem about my hair, and this is before I had locks, but I was really struggling with the way in which my hair was because I went to a school where it's 98% Latinx. And so I wanted my hair to do what everyone else's hair was doing, but it wasn't happening. And no one told me that my hair was just so beautiful. And so it took a while for me to really understand. So we're able to open up those doors and really have conversations. And I've had the beautiful opportunity of moving thousands of writers into action and audiences to tears for over 15 years. And so what I love doing is I love helping writers and entrepreneurs really getting out of their heads onto the page and into creative action. So whether that is you writing your book, uh, putting an idea into reality, writing that keynote speech, whatever that might be, I'm able to move folks into that space, which is absolutely beautiful. So, uh as we're diving into this segment, if you were here again, make sure that you are shouting yourself out. So make sure to include your name and where you're from, where you're joining us, and be interactive in the chat. I can see you, so I want to be able to have these conversations with you. And if you were catching this on the replay, make sure you include the hashtag replay in the chat so that when I come back, I can make sure to interact with y'all. All right. Um, so let's dive in here. Let's think a little bit about where we are, right? So when it comes to being creative, I definitely want you all to ask yourselves the questions like, what has been your biggest challenge when it comes to being creative? And that creativity can look different for different people. But I want you to think about what has been your biggest challenge, and then if you're brave enough, type that in the chat so that we can have a conversation about what that looks like, because I bet your challenge is something that someone else is also dealing with, but they haven't had the opportunity to really put it out there into the world, or they think they're the only one. And there is so much power in being able to name where you are so that you know where you're headed, and then creating the best flight pattern for you to move forward. So again, I would love for you to pop in the chat, name what has been your biggest challenge when it comes to being creative. So whether that's writing your book, whether that is sharing your story with someone on a stage, whether that is facilitating spaces for others to really have conversations around deeper topics. What is that thing that has been your biggest challenge when it comes to being creative? So make sure y'all pop that in the chat. So again, what I really want to share with you all today is my story around moving into this space of possibility and really leaping and trusting myself and believing in myself when it came to building my stories, when it came to building Byrd's World. And where that kind of stemmed from, I feel as if I was very lucky. in growing up in a household with my grandmother, which you'll hear a little bit more about. But I really want to share this story with you. Um, and before I forget, if y'all here again, make sure you are putting your name in the chat, because I would want to reach out to you all once this is done to just learn a little bit more about where you are, and how we could potentially build together. So, with that, I definitely want to share the inspiration behind the new merch line that I have, which is Leap and Your Wings Will Appear. I want to show you all um this line. This is something that is so special to me. And I remember when I first got the product in the mail and I opened the box in my car, I could not wait to see what it looked like. And even though I had been through the process of creating this for months, it wasn't until I held the merch in my hand that I just started bawling. And it was more than just me holding this t shirt. It had to deal with the story behind this t-shirt. You see, I've been building my dream and manifesting it for over 15 years. And I specifically remember sitting in my mentor's office. Y'all, I went to Cornell College in the middle of Mount Vernon, Iowa. And I remember sitting in my mentor's office and I envisioned exactly what I wanted Byrd's world to look like. And I remember picturing the bookshelves and the brown and reddish couches and the old school microphone that sat on the slightly elevated stage. And y'all, this was back in the day when Love Jones was like super hot. And so I like wanted to recreate what that looked like for me. Um, and I even heard the annoying yet somewhat satisfying and comforting cash register cha-chings that were in the background as I was like envisioning what Byrd's world can look like. Now, mind you, this is 15 years ago, and I'm doing this envisioning exercise that I didn't even understand how powerful it was, right? And my dream was visualized then, but the more I started to dig into it, I realized that it began way before that moment, and that my foundation and love for words really started at home. And so my grandmother, who I affectionately call Bada, really was someone who advocated for education. And she was a Black woman who was born in the 1920s, and she really craved for the finer things in life and wanted to really advance as a Black woman. And she equated education to freedom. So in the house, every chance that she got, she was placing some sort of material in front of me to read, or she was placing a pen in my hand and paper so that I made sure that I was interacting with words at an early age. And she made sure that when I was reading something out loud, that I meant what I was saying, right? And she made sure there was a little oomph behind my words. And as she was doing this, I didn't realize, but Bada was really squashing my fear of public speaking and what that looked like at an early age for me. So I remember, a specific moment of sitting in my dining room, and anytime I came across a word that like I couldn't pronounce, or I couldn't spell, I specifically remember a moment where I was reading the funny pages and there was a word that I couldn't really say. I couldn't sound it out. I didn't know, what it was, right? And I turned and I looked at my grandmother and I said, I can't. I tried to say the phrase, I can't. But before I was even able to like finish the sentence, in her scratchy voice, she looked down at me and said, "There is no such word as can't." Now, I was somewhat of a smart aleck growing up. And in my world, there is a word as there's such a word as can't. And so I looked at my grandmother and I said, "Yes, there is." Well, I got bopped up against my hair real quick when that happened. Um, but little did I know what she was really doing for me was instilling that there is no such word as can't, right? And unconsciously her words replayed in my head. There's no such word as can't over and over and over again. And she built into my world that can't was never an option, right? Um, because we move through this world and we tell ourselves we can't all of the time. We say, I can't. I can't find the tools. I can't find the time. I can't um complete this task for some reason. And we keep repeating in our heads, I can't, I can't, I can't. And my grandmother made sure that I believed in my own ability to complete something by letting me know that there's no such phrase as I can't. And she didn't let me say the word can't. And so I want us to think about what would happen if we took a page out of Bada's book and said, there's no such word as can't. And I want you to be honest with yourself. If you're with me right now, I really, really want you to be honest with yourself and comment in the chat and comment in the chat. Has there ever been a time when you told yourself, I can't? You might have said, I can't be a writer, or I can't be a poet, or I can't share my work with other people, or I can't shift my classroom curriculum into something that's more engaging with my students, or I can't have that conversation that the rest of the world is having, but you're saying I can't have that with my students right now. And if that's you, please comment in the chat so that we know that we're not alone in this, right? Has there ever been a time where you had a story in you, but you're allowing that story to collect dust in your mind? Where's the action that goes with you telling your story? And I want you to dig even deeper and think about what's stopping you from telling your story. And honestly, the truth is, it's you. And I know sometimes we don't want to admit that we're in the way because we're always thinking about external factors that are in the way that are stopping us from telling our stories. But in all honesty, the truth is you're the only thing that's getting in your way. You are more powerful than you give yourself credit for. And sometimes you just need a little push to make that I can't into all of the possibility. Laura, I see you here with us. And I see you're like, you wouldn't say it's can't, but I think it's hard for some people to have those conversations. Yeah, I definitely would agree that um the ability for us to be able to have the conversations about how to move forward in telling our story. Sometimes when we don't know how to move forward, we shy away from admitting that we can do that work. It's just about needing help in doing that work, right? um and so I know a lot of times for me, I'll speak for myself. When I think I'm the only one, sometimes I don't say anything, or there have been times where I don't say things. Now I'm like, oh, yep, nope, I don't understand. Like I don't wait for other people. And if I'm the only one, I'm the only one. But someone's gonna sit down with me and break it down so that I understand. But like when we see one person who is stepping up and saying, I want to tell my story, but I don't know how to tell my story, that gives other people permission. Sometimes we just need that one person to to take it to the next level. I'm seeing also in the chat from Laura, I never thought about telling students to take my hard class, and later they told me why. Mm, it was a why I never considered. Yeah, like how are we challenging ourselves and pushing ourselves forward and giving ourselves the permission to do that? Laura, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for being here, right? Um there's that permission, or understanding that they have the option of being able to do that. Sometimes we don't even realize what our options are. And so we automatically kind of discount, oh, that's not a possibility, or if we've never seen it done before. um mm, I see you, Laura. Yeah, like if we don't even know that there's a possibility, of us moving to a different level, we don't necessarily do it. And so that's always something to think about, right? Um, and I want us to also think about like the other challenges that I'm in the chat. It's so good. Thank you so much, Laura. um, I also want us to think about, you know, if this is something that you've said before that, I can't write my book, I can't tell my story. I want you to think about all the other times in which I love this. Yes, let's think about all the other times in which you have leveled up. I love that, Laura. What are all the times that you have leveled up, right? What about all the other times where there's been a task that's put in front of you, that someone else has given you, and you were ready, like you stepped up and you did what you had to do for someone else, right? And a lot of the times can't necessarily isn't the first thing that comes out of our mouth when someone else gives us a challenge to step up to, because we tend to show up for other people more than we show up for ourselves and our own goals and our own dreams, right? So let's think about what is actually possible for ourselves if we stepped up for ourselves and moved forward, right? Because I'm sure there have been days where you have woken up and there have been more items on your to-do list than you can count, and you thought that you couldn't handle any of like the looming deadlines that were there, right? um but you stepped up and you were able to really do it anyway, right? You were able to show up for yourself in a way because of those looming deadlines. In fact, I know you stepped up because you're here with me today, whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay. I know you stepped up because deep down inside you know that there is no such word as can't, because you are stepping up to this table, because you are strong-willed, you are passionate, you are resilient, you are brave, and you take chances that not everybody else considers, right? You see the big picture, and you're creative and courageous enough to really roll up your sleeves and get dirty. You show up for yourself. And just like Laura just said in the chat, because you have a voice, right? You have a place in this world. So how about you level up and show up for yourself, right? And move things along with your story. And if you think about how you do this for other people, what about if you did this for yourself and you showed up for yourself in your creative projects? The transformation that you're looking for, maybe in your classroom or in your story or with your dreams or with your own creative joy. What if you did that for yourself? When will you really stand up and really go to the edge, and you're imagine yourself on this branch and you're bravely looking over at all the things you have ever overcome, all the things that you have accomplished, and really believe that you have all of the tools that you need, and sometimes you just might need some guidance to move things forward. But if you were standing on this branch, looking over it, close your eyes, say thank you to everything that you've overcome, spread your wings, and really believe that you can fly. I genuinely believe that you have what it takes to bring your story to life and your dreams to life. And now is the time for you to do that. Now is the time to step into your journey, right? And I know for me, when I wake up in the morning, sometimes I might not feel like doing it, right? But there's something about this merch that makes me want to move forward. It makes me want to trust and believe that if I leap, my wings will appear, and that it's possible for me to be able to do this. It's possible for me to be able to peer over the horizon and trust that I know what is coming and I know the tools in order to combat it, right? That everything that I've gone through has led me to this moment right here for a reason. So what I do is set my intention, believe in myself, leap, and ultimately I'm able to fly. If you think about baby birds, right? One of the ways that they learn how to fly is just actually going out there and doing it. So hiding behind that fear of all the things that we might tell ourselves, right? That we can't do something is not serving us. So thinking about what my grandmother used to say in terms of there's no such word as can't. Let's hold on to that, right? Let's really lean into that space, because I truly believe that every idea begins with a dream, and every dream requires action to put it out into the world so that people can really see how brilliant you truly are. And you have a chance to make your dream come true. You have a chance to make whatever it is that you are creating in your mind a reality. So don't wait. Move into that action. Face whatever fear is holding you back, and then do it anyway. Believe that you have what it takes to really be in that space. And so I'm just here today, one, to just share my story in terms of how I kind of got to where I was going. Luckily, I was able to have my grandmother by my side to let me know that there was no such word as can't. And she's been gone for 12 years now. It'll be 12 years in a couple of days. And I still hold that lesson with me. I just got to chill. I still hold that lesson with me, um in terms of believing that there's no such word as can't. And so I've been moving through this world, and so I wanted to be able to pass that on to you all and believe that if you leap, your wings will genuinely appear, right? And so right now, I want to encourage you all, if there has been a book that you've been thinking about writing and haven't had a chance to necessarily do that yet, why not do it right now? Why not push yourself into that action and be a little bit more creative? Figure out what that looks like for you, right? And so here's what I want to be able to offer you all. If 2022 is the year where you are saying, I want to write my next book, I want to write my first book, what can I do to move that forward, right? And so I think of all of the different things that you could do to move your story forward. And there are three different levels in which I like to present to people to kind of move you forward in telling your story. And I'm getting super excited about it because there is a moment when I'm working with people, and um that aha moment goes off for them where they realize I have a story to tell. One of the things that genuinely hurts my heart is when I am first talking to people and I ask them, what's your story? And people tell me I don't have a story. And there's a piece of me that breaks inside, because everyone has a story to tell. It's just about realizing that what you have gone through is valuable. What you have gone through what you've gone through can really help to move other people along in their journeys. And so it breaks my heart when people say that they don't have a story. Or if someone says I'm not a writer. I believe that everyone is a writer. It's just about having the right tools to move you forward. And so I'm I'm getting excited about what's coming next, right? So we have three different levels within Bird's world. We have the leap level, we have the flight level, and then we have the soar level, right? So within the leap level, this level is really about unlearning whatever hurts have been within you. Maybe someone has moved you to believe that you're not a writer, or that you can't write your book, or you've told yourself that you're not a Toni Morrison or a Ta-Nehisi Coates, or someone who, you know, has been elevated in the media, and so you're busy comparing yourself to those people, but you haven't been able to see yourself in that light, right? And so within that leap level, it's all about, how do I start? How do I begin to move forward in telling my story, right? And so there is where I really encourage people to be able to figure out what stories you have within you, right? And so if you're like, I have this story, but I don't really know how to move it forward, I would really love to encourage you all to schedule a discovery call with me. I offer 30-minute discovery calls to folks that might have an idea but don't necessarily know how to move forward, right? So this I'm adding in the chat right now. Um, that leap level free 30-minute discovery call is really going to help you move forward within your story and for you to be able to discover what you already have, right? And how can we move you forward there? So that's a free offer that I have for folks. I also have a Facebook group, the Hummingbirds, and this is a space where you have access to different writing workshops that you can dive into that are self-guided and that can move you through your own writing journey, along with asking you questions about where some of that self-doubt might have come from. Who are your heroes, right? Who are the people that have inspired you to write, but maybe you didn't necessarily see yourself in that light, right? And so that's a free group that you can be a part of as well. And so if that's something that you're interested in, please make sure you DM me and I can send you the details on how you can be a part of that group. And really help to motivate you in your own journey. And so those two different things at the leap level are available. I'm super excited about all of the levels. The flight level is something that really gets me going. So the leap level is a lot around mindset and you having the opportunity to really leap and believe that you have what it takes to be a writer. In the flight level, we really focus on tools and strategy, right? So we're here in this space. We know we have a story, but we don't necessarily know how to start. How do we move forward? How do we develop our flight plan so that your story can actually be out into the world? And so we have a chance to really evolve and kind of accelerate in this flight level. And within this level, I'm super excited to announce that we will be offering our second round of How to Fly. I'm sorry, Learn to Fly, How to Rise in Your Creative Badassery in 6 weeks. And we will be launching that course at the end of January. In this cohort, I absolutely love working with this group because within this group, what we will be doing is really leaning into the story, excuse me, that you want to be able to tell but don't know how to tell just yet, right? And so, what does that look like for you to build your story outline? What does it look like for you to really see the book in your hands? What does it look like for you to have pages to present to someone about the book that you want to write, right? So within Learn to Fly, How to Rise in Your Creative Badassery in 6 weeks, we liberate your genius really and get it out of your head and onto the page, and we develop a positive mindset and a creative process for you to really dive into. We help you to stay motivated and keep you on track in terms of the action that you're taking, right? We make really meaningful connections and build as a community, as a cohort, so that you're not the only one that's in your head trying to tell the story. Sometimes you need that bird's eye view in order to understand where you're going, and you have a cohort of people to help move you forward in that. And there's so much more that's there. We're able to create healthy habits and really leverage the best results for you to be able to move your story either to publication, to the stage, whatever your goal might be. And then also, we offer within the flight level a 3-month accountability program that really helps to move people forward after we've done the 6-week course. How do we make sure that we are pushing you forward? And then we also have the Soar level, which pushes you even further with your book writing. So this includes like creative consulting, right? Around one-on-one coaching and one-on-one story building. And this space is really for writers and entrepreneurs that might need a little help in moving what they're building forward. And so, what I would love to be able to offer you all today, for those of you that are here with me, I want to move you into action. We're in this space where we have realized that we have this story to tell, but we might not know how to tell it, or we might not have the tools to pull it all together, or we're not hitting that go button for you to get your story out into the world. And so, what I would like to offer you all today, as my thank you for being here with me, whether you were here live or whether you're watching the replay, make sure you put in the chat hashtag replay so that I know that you are here. What I would love to be able to offer you all is one, I want you to check out the course, Learn to Fly, How to Rise in Your Creative Badassery in 6 weeks. And I am it's already at the bottom. So make sure y'all check that out. And if this is something that is of interest to you, I am offering a $200 discount on the course for the first 3 people to sign up after watching this live. So if you check out the course and are interested in learning a little bit more, you can schedule a discovery call with me, reach out to me, send me a DM, and we can have a little bit more conversation about what it looks like for you to leap into your dreams and leap into telling your story and potentially building out a flight plan for you to move forward, right? So for the first 3 people who sign up before Sunday at noon Central Standard Time, I would love to offer a $200 discount for the course, Learn to Fly, How to Rise in Your Creative Badassery in 6 weeks. If you're unsure about whether or not if this course is for you, schedule a discovery call with me before that time, and I will hold your slot in line for that $200 discount so that we are able to really figure out what your needs are. Maybe you're at the leap level and you're not at the flight level just yet. What does that mean to move you forward into that leap level and into that flight level? To push your story out into the world, right? So there's so many different ways that I would love to extend and invite you to work within Byrd's world, again, to really get that story out of your head onto the page and put you into action so that you can write your book for the year 2022 and get it out into the world and share it with people. um, I am super excited for your future and what you are building in this moment. Also want to extend the offer to you where if you wake up in the morning and you know that you want to be in more creative action, but you need a little bit more of a reminder of what that looks like, how about you check out the Leap merch? We have t-shirts, we have sweatshirts, we have 4 different colors. This is the Heather Brown. Haha, you see what I did there? Um, this is the Heather Brown. Leap and your wings will appear. We also have it in black, cool blue, and mauve, along with the hoodies that are in black. And we also have this is one of my favorite things on the face of the earth, actually. I'll pull it out real quick. I love doing morning pages. And within my morning pages, sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, I don't have anything to write, which is a lie. There's so much there. But my new favorite notebook is actually the Leap and Your Wings Will Appear notebook, because I wake up in the morning and I see this, and it's a great reminder of what I am working towards, right? And just to share a little bit with you real quick about what I did within my particular Leap journal. I made my manifestation, wrong side, my manifestation list on the first page. What do I want to accomplish creatively within the year 2022? I made that the first page within my Leap journal. It is here to remind me every time I open this up. It reminds me to leap, but then it reminds me what I'm working towards. So I would definitely encourage you all, if writing is something that you are interested in pursuing, making sure that you get your own Leap journal, get your Leap t-shirts. You want to be able to put yourself into action and motivate you in a way that it's really, really great. So make sure you cop this. I have the link here at the bottom of the page. I will also include the link in the chat so that you have that as well. Y'all, I just want to thank you so much for being with me here today. And as we wrap up, I just want to remind folks, if you are thinking about moving yourself into action, writing your first book or your next book, right? Make sure you schedule a discovery call with me so that we can think about what it looks like to put you into action in 2022, right? So I want to thank you all so much for being here. Again, if you're watching, make sure you write the hashtag replay so that I know that you're here. Again, my name is Byrd, and I am the creator and founder of Byrd's Word, where we inspire and transform lives through creativity. Make sure you all check out all of the opportunities that are there for you, whether you want to switch your mindset around being a writer, and you want to be a part of the Hummingbird Facebook group and really start writing with self-guided workshops. If you want to schedule a discovery call with me to see where you are in your own journey so that we can place you where it feels the best. If you want to go ahead and jump in and be one of the first three for the Learn to Fly How to Rise in Your Creative Badassery in 6 weeks course that's kicking off at the end of January, make sure you hop on that opportunity. And I will include the link to sign up for the course in the comment section right now. So you have that information. If at any point you want to schedule a call with me just to learn more, we can always do that. And I want to thank you all so much for being in this space. I want to thank you for your willingness to be here and even think about what it looks like for you to leap and know that your wings will appear when it comes to telling your story. I want to let you know that I see you. You are a hummingbird because you were here and you were with me today. um, you're brave, you are so passionate. You are creative. And I want to invite you to be able to be even more creative with your day. I want to thank you all so much for being here. And as always, make sure y'all continue to explore, continue to be active in your writing journey. And as always, y'all make sure to keep flying. Till next time. Bye, y'all.